just felt it was easier just to get started. You don't need the 5 minute timer. We know what's going on. All right, welcome. Hello, 2026. I hope everyone is having a good week. I hope everyone's had a good New Year's. It is nice to be back, and I'm in my new office. If you can see it here, it is very pretty, and I'm very proud of it. It is amazing. Yep, I have shown some stuff off in the Discord, but if you haven't already, I can quickly just show you this. So I'm going to move my camera, so be prepared. So I've got my little armchair there, and if you notice, just on the side table, oh my god, it's hard to control over there. That's my little typewriter. It's what I use to write my books and stuff. Let me turn up my audio back to the normal. I turned it down just so you didn't get overwhelmed by it, but let me know where is good. That's about 10 decibels, give or take. Well, like 10 on the little turn thing, but tell me if that's good, and we can, yeah. Is it still quite low? I can keep going up, but I don't want to blow people's headphones off. Okay, perfect. All right, yeah, so that's my little typewriter that I use to write. I usually, what I'm trying to do now is write more, just like books. So I sit there, I've got all my books up there. We start with some nice Tolkien, and then some Brandon Sanderson goes all the way down. Then we've got some Game of Thrones stuff there, and a few more books over there too. You don't want to see my face. Right, so let me move out of the way. Oh no, doesn't matter. Okay. Then we have my shelf of many things. These are all RPGs, by the way. There's not a single like actual novel in there, but they're all RPGs. So I've got loads of stuff in there. You'll notice a few little things as well. So like the Bramble Trek plushies are in there. You've got the Ashes minis are on display now. The dice for Draconim are also there, and one of the boxes. Yeah, I mean it's a nice little setup for me. I personally am very happy because I need to work here every day, so it is nice to have that sense of like my space, you know. So yeah, it is a very nice place to be. I'm very happy at the minute. So with that said, I am very, very excited to talk a bit more about 2026 and where things are at. So we will first start with where things are at. So which one should we start with? Bramble Trek 2, well, Bramble Trek Starter Edition. The core rules for the House Mouse is at, I'd say, 10%. I have not made a lot of huge movement with that at the minute, and there is someone at my door. I will be right back. Give me a second. Right, there we go. I am back. Apologies. Gosh, this is a problem with like moving into somewhere new. But everything gets delivered at the same time. Okay, so that's the main character of Covens. Well, one of the two main characters of Covens. She's pretty much in all the artwork. Right, just checking my notes. Okay, let's see, comments. Cool, so let's start that again so I can clip this. Welcome to another weekly stream. We'll quickly be going over where everything is at the minute and how projects are progressing. So, to start with, we'll first go over Brambletrek 2, or the Brambletrek starter set. Brambletrek starter set is currently at 10%. There hasn't been many things changed for the game. I'm still working on the core resolution mechanic because the cards are really slowing the game down. I have started working on one of the core adventures for it, but I don't expect this game to take me too long to finish given the base I already have with Brambletrek 1. It is just more a big focus for me as I finish other parts of other projects. So, Brambletrek Starter Edition, 10%. So, that brings me on to the next one, which is Draconim. Draconim's Herald Guide is currently at 75% done. The good thing is I had a lot of these bones already finished. It was more reading it, refining it, and making sure that what I was writing was in line with everything that I'd already changed for Draconim's base book. So the good news is, it is way further ahead than I thought I'd be at this point. I think a couple of weeks ago I put out, I was currently at 20%, so this is really good. It means that I have to do the monsters, I have to do a few of the edits on lore, make sure that the history matches across books, consistency and, you know, like sanity checks. So not a lot to do, but it's going to take me a bit to do the monsters, because they are going to be a difficult one. With the change and with the amount of monsters I have planned, it is going to take a while. So there you go. Solo rulebook. I'd say it's at about 30% done at this point. I finished the classes, I'm working on the careers, I have finished the kin that are going to be in there. I am going to be working on the core rules for the new companions. You've got the partner mounts, etc, etc. Yeah, it's coming along. It's taking a while, but there is a lot that needs to be done. It does require rewriting of every single like table that's in there, which is a bit of a pain, but it is something I have to do. The reason I'm not counting it towards completion is because I've not checked them. I don't want to say it's done until it's done. So I'd say, yeah, that's where that's at. Legends of Acheroth. Important to talk about is that different games are at different stages. So certain games are in pre-release, pre-alpha, certain games are in alpha, certain games are in beta, and some are in core. When it reaches core, what that means is that the game is done, and to a point where if I was to release it in that current state, I'd be happy. Alpha is now being sent to playtesters in order to be checked. Beta is just final bits and bobs, maybe waiting for artwork, maybe waiting for little balance changes, but no big overhauls will be made. Walls of the Night solo rulebook has different kin. No, it has the same kin, but they're reduced down to 4 because the game is more focused. There will be no extra kin in that book, so please don't expect that. As for other things, yeah, Legends of Acheroth is currently, I'd say, pre-alpha, about 98% done. There is a few more tweaks I need to make, but when I say 98%, I mean the full 300 plus page core rulebook is 98% finished. It is a huge accomplishment for a game as early as it is in its stage, so there's just a lot for me to do in terms of just edits and checks, but in terms of pre-alpha, it's basically done. I'm extremely happy, so it means I can start sending it to people to review, to read, to give me feedback on, etc, etc. So yeah, a lot of stuff going on. There is a lot of other stuff that I'm working on as well, which I can't really tell you about just yet. But if it was to discuss another project, let's see if I can find it. So I think that's about it. Yeah. There's no additional kin. Like there won't be any extra. I want to make it absolutely clear. This isn't a, oh, I'm going to change that. The solo rulebook will not have any extra kin in it. So if you're going into that book expecting extra, there won't be. It just because it doesn't make any sense to me to do that. The solo rulebook is a focused adventure and focus system based purely on you creating characters and sticking with those characters for a long time. You don't need to have multiple kin there because realistically you're only going to be using that book solo or maybe with 1 or 2 players. It is not something that you can replace the core rulebook with. So do not expect that at all. Yeah, we're looking really good on all things at the minute. I am very excited about the stuff that we're currently working on. We have got a lot of artwork that's been progressed, and there's a lot of stuff that I'm really excited to show off in the future as we go. So with that said, what we'll do is continue on with the Herald's Guide. So I want to go over the Herald's Guide a bit just to showcase where we're at, how things are going, and what sort of information you can expect from this book. It is a big one, so please do keep that in mind. But here we are. This is the Herald's Guide. Beautiful cover there. Don't look at this because all of this needs updating. I've not actually done any edits to that. But this book is split into 2 internally. So there's part 1, which is the Herald's Guide, and part 2, which is the World of Acheroth. So that's your lore, that's your deeper stuff about Batazian. It's the one that you look to for specific areas of information for you. So the book, as I say, it goes through part 1, which is Guide and Story, part 2, which is the World of Acheroth, and this is the part that I think it comes from my sort of knowledge, and I discuss more things as a herald who has run this game for tables, things I've learned across the time I've been a game designer / writer / herald / game master. So for example, I talk about the important stuff to remember about your table. So the fact that there are different types of players, and all of this stemming from actual research done, not just my own experiences. So like I read taste tests pleasing all players all the time inside the Dragon magazine, and then I've implemented that into the Herald's Guide so you guys can read it. Because while these things are great, not everyone knows them, and I think it's important to add these in to books that people are going to have access to. And so while I don't go over the exact nature of all of this, naming the thing you need to go look for is always helpful. So there's that. I discuss how to balance your spotlights, how to let players take charge of their story, general information that a new herald can sit down and get and go, right, I now understand how to play Draconim. This isn't designed just for new players and new heralds. This is great for people who already heralded before, because there might be stuff that you may not know, but it doesn't assume you don't know anything. It just gives you guidance on how to do certain things. So that's that. So there's a lot of this. It tells you how to build your own world. It gives you strategies on writing a story that is beyond Acheroth. So writing stories in your own world, not just inside this one. So like I talk about how to use weather, how to use scenes to make roleplay more interesting, how to set difficulty challenges, how to use skill challenges over time, how to use resting, advanced magical items. There's an entire set of tables on how to build magical items yourself. a bunch of legendary artifacts that you could use, including the World Anchor, which may be my single favorite one. You've got Crafting and Adventure, which goes over how to run one-shots, campaigns, what the epic campaign is, you know, like how to tell these stories. So you've got High Fantasy, which is the main tone of Akaroth. That needs to be this one. You've got Dark Fantasy and Grim Akaroth. You've got the Low Fantasy side of it, Sword and Sorcery, Weird Fantasy, Portal Fantasy. You know, it gives you guidance on how to run a campaign that you want to run. So, you know, like I talk about what not to do as well and stuff that I've made mistakes on. So I was very much a epic campaign kind of guy who writes big lore stuff, interconnected plots, all these big things that are going to be really exciting for the table, but then none of that ever happens, you know. It just doesn't happen. So I do my research and I look at community polls, I looked at anecdotal data, and I found that over 70% of campaigns using a published epic hardcover format never get finished. The biggest cause being too much ambition. When everything is one long story, nothing feels finished, players lose track of the why, the Herald gets overwhelmed with keeping threads coherent. So I discussed the theory of using 4 to 6 sessions as episodic arcs, and then binding those sessions together into a larger story, because then you're chunking everything out into little bits. And that works well. I do that at my current table. So we're currently nearing, well, wait, actually my players are going to be in this, so I'm not going to say anything. Yeah, so I do sort of go over a lot of stuff here, discuss what one shot is, how to structure a one shot, the way that you can structure a one shot to connect to bigger campaigns, clocks in a bit more detail, how to use wounds effectively, you know, and then there's roll tables. So one of the big ones is the roll table for creating locations. So you can roll a d10 and figure out your population type. So it might be what type of settlement it is. Then you can do the city shape. Then you can do city defenses, points of interest within the city, or, well, location, secrets in the location, the kin that you can find in this location, and some uncommon kin. So this will be the first time you'll be able to see what the other kin in Akaroth are. So we've got the Arachnia, the Armor, the Bristlebacks, the Bushtails, the Crowkin, the Dwarves, the Florites, the Half-Elves, Panthara, the Selima, the Steelwakes, and the Void-Touched. So those are like some uncommon ones that can be in Batazian, but they're not one of the 12 main kin that you can find, which is nice because it gives you some information. Local customs, you know, like certain places might do certain things. And then there is a D100 table for businesses with a bit of detail on what the business does. So you can just roll in and have everything. A table for taverns and inns, a table for conflicts, a table for the underworld within this location, some random encounters for forests, for mountains, for plains, for swamps, for the shattered lands, for the water encounters. There are tons of stuff in here for you to use at your table. So I'm really excited for people to be able to use that. And then you've got the Guide to Akaroth, which is a bit more detailed onto what the world is and how it all ties together. So a summary format, and tell you a bit more about their lore. So should a player be coming from these locations, you have some detail on them. And then I go over the calendar of Akaroth, how years work, the months and seasons. You have the cosmos, you have the different planes of existence, festivals within Batazian, and what the festivals mean, what type of festival they are, the day that they fall on, and some detail onto what they actually mean. For the people of Akaroth, then you have the history of the world. So this is history of Batazian and Akaroth together. So we talk about shaping of the world, sundering of the world tree, the first kin, the war of sky and earth, the Batazian's crucible, the truce, founding of the Light Lords, creation of the Ruby Rebellion, battle of the Twinned Blood, battle of the Broken Feather, festival of the Crowned Sky, Dragonfall, the Purge, the reign of the Hollow King, and the Conflicts. You know, very interesting parts of lore that people have been asking for. So let me just grab something quickly, because I think, yeah, grab that, because this one should be alliances and divinity should be, and divinity. So we go over the gods in a bit more detail. We talk about their goals, their influence, their divine relationships, some myths. I don't know if this is going to stay, but it's there for now. Then we go over all the gods get a section. Then we get onto the primordials. We get onto the 5 primordials, so the 3 sacred ones that created the world, and then Valathar and Xerxes. We then talk about the paragons in a bit more detail, each one getting a bit more information. All of the Aelir lords. So there are about 36 Aelir lords that characters can pick from whenever they're creating their sort of like divine associated character, and it gives you an idea of what their symbol looks like, their domains, and yeah, some stuff there. We then have the 6 factions of Batazian, and you can see a bit more detail onto them, the structure of them, their ranks, relationships that they have with other sort of factions as well, a double-page spread on the Lightbearers, then a section on every single Lightbearer faction in great detail, so that you can read all about them, their history, their culture, their status, their relationships, their figures of interest. Yeah, you have a lot of stuff in here for the Lightbearer fans. Then we have locations in Batazian, so we go over the settlement types, we go over the story hooks that you can find as well. I believe I got rid of the story hooks, did I? Let me just double check. Let's just say it's, yeah, it's key concerns, current concerns. Gosh, does not like that. Current concerns. Okay. Just call it. Yeah, okay, cool. Then we have the flora of Batazian. So there's some really beautiful artwork of the different flora that you can encounter. Some detail on the fauna that you can find as well. And then the flavors of Batazian. So this is actual like food that you can find and what it does. But there's not mechanical advantages for these. That's more for the Herald to come up with. But there is some guidance on that. Then we get to each location. So every single location has an overview, what the lands and boundaries look like, how the government works within it, culture and daily life, belief and remembrance, sites of importance. So these are like how they are as people. Then you've got key people and you've got current concerns. So these are your story hooks that you can use. All of them also have the type of location they are, the estimated population, the demographics. So as a herald, you can instantly go in and know Dracon's Perch will have a lot more Featherborn than they will humans and other types of kin. So most likely the players will come into contact with a Featherborn out of any others. Then you've got, yeah, I mean, every single location has one of these, and I think that about wraps up the entire thing in there. Then we get on to people and culture. So talking a bit more about what Batazian as a location is, why the people there are the way that they are, how do the people here live, and what do they believe? So if you spoke to a random person, what kind of stuff do they believe? So that goes over a lot of expectation. Oaths mean a lot in Batazian. You've got the Lightbearers, you've got the Oath Keepers. It makes a lot of sense for this to be quite important for them as people. And then we go over the kin. So all of the kin, while having notes inside the core rulebook, this section actually goes into very deep detail into how they act. So in Adafane, their life in Batazian flourishes in places of structured convergence. You know, like it talks a bit more about how they are and it goes into detail about how each of the subkin are as well. So Dawnflame are more religious, whereas the Eclipse Light are rare, so you don't see them as much. You know, there's a lot of detail here, and it goes into detail for every single kin and subkin, so you have everything you need as a herald to write the stories that you want to tell. Then I talk a bit more about how to use culture, and although, you know, racism is something that exists in these worlds, I do go over how to use them effectively without just saying, like, avoid lazy tropes like elves hate dwarves. Instead, root the conflict in historical betrayal, ideological divergence, and cultured memory. So talk a bit more about how they function, not the fact that they just hate them because of the way they are. Then I talk about the philosophy of the six. Now, these are the six... just need to check something there. What colour is that? 0's 100. Okay. 0, 0, 0, 100. Perfect. I go over what each of the core attributes actually means. Then the aspects of magic and how they function. Then I go into detail on the adversaries, how to use the adversary section effectively. So 0, 0, 0. How to design encounters effectively, how to use threat level, using combat as war, how to balance it. There's an advanced mechanic for morale. There is ways to keep fights engaging, making sure that you fail forward. And then I'm going to reveal this now. Horde combat. That is a section that is coming. I am currently writing it. And then I do go over different tiers of adversary. Obviously, I wrote a lot, so I need to change all of these. So this is going to take me a while to do. So please bear with me while I get that done. And then finally, we have the Darkness Beneath, which is a level 1 adventure, also included inside the Herald's Guide. It is a very fun adventure with tons of stuff that you can do, a few maps as well. I won't showcase that in too much detail. And then, yeah, there's like a lot of stuff that you can expect to see there. It also has a bunch of custom stat blocks that you can see. I won't reveal too much about that just yet. But that is the Herald's Guide. It is a great book. Genuinely, I'm very happy with it as a concept. I'm really excited to write it more, get more of it finished, and finally get it to people. Because it has been something I've been working on for a while. And I'll be completely honest, I've been working on it quite slowly because I didn't know how the core rules would look. So I didn't want to invest too much time in it. But now that I'm done with that, I can invest more time into this section of things. So, yeah. Right. Let's see. Okay, perfect. Yeah, really excited for this. I can't give you a date for when I'd be finished with it. There's just a lot to do. I'm working as fast as I can. But at the end of the day, what I might do though, I might release part 1, which is just the Herald's Guide section, and then keep the lore section for later, because that's what's got the stat blocks in it, and those are what need to be done. Or I make this 3 parts. First part is the Herald's Guide, second part is the Guide to Azeroth, and the third part is adversaries. Then I can release them in chunks a lot easier. I'll have to give that a good think before I do that. That would make my life a bit easier, because then I can get direct feedback on different sections and apply them really quickly. So we shall see. Right, so that is that. Switch back to this. Yeah. So, Legends of Azeroth. there is a lot going on with that game at the minute. I will be honest, Christmas has really taken a bit of the wind out of my sails with things. It's just been a lot to keep on top of and try and manage. So I've been aiming to get on top of it, but it has been quite difficult to do, I'll be completely honest. Yeah, it is it's an exciting game. I really want to do more though with it. I want to play more. I want to run some more sessions. So I'd love to know if you guys would be interested in seeing more of that as well, because that would be fun for me to run. And I'd like to see if I could recruit some players to play in some games to see what they think as well. If you would be interested, let me know, because I want to run more games. It has been one of the things on my list, and I know that my Monday group want to play Draconim live at some point. So if we can figure that out, I wouldn't mind running like a 1-shot or a 2-shot and having you guys, well, watch a bit of Draconim actual play, because if you haven't watched it already, highly recommend you go watch the Natural 6 playthrough of Draconim. It is so much fun that I am genuinely upset that we're only doing 2 episodes. I wish we could do more. So yeah, it is something on my list. And you know, I am really excited for what else is coming as well. Throne of Luster is getting to print at the minute with the samples coming to me, so I'm really excited for that. There's a few more things going on with Midnight I would love to discuss with you, but we're moving closer and closer to shipping, which means I will eventually be able to charge you for your shipping soon and get that out of the way. But yeah, cool. So with that said, Legends of Acheroth. So, people have been asking, okay, what else is coming for Legends? Is there going to be more stuff? Yes, there will be more demos in the future. I just need to sit down and actually write them. Because I've been off and because I moved house, there has been a lot of stuff that has been going on in my life. So I've had to take a break. It's been a nice break though. I have enjoyed taking a break. But I come back to it with a lot of ideas. So yeah, that's a lot of fun. I want to do more streams where I actually play games. So next week there will be a stream for Comers at Midnight where I go over character creation, and there are some stuff I want to discuss during that as well, because we will also be discussing the new design jam that we'll be doing for certain titles. So if you're in the Discord, you will have heard that there is a design jam for Draconim. It is not currently open because I have been off, so I haven't managed to actually define it a bit more than I wanted to. But I will be announcing everything in the next few weeks. So keep an ear out, because it's going to be a lot of fun. There's a few things I'm going to reveal, but next week there will be a Comes at Midnight stream where I go over character creation and a bit more stuff for Covens. Rochi, no, you will not. You will only get the core rulebook once it's finished. It is not finished. It is currently in like core version. So while it's not available for the public, it's available for backers. Backers get everything early. If you do not back a project, you will have to wait till public release, which usually isn't for a couple of months / a year after release. It is to reward the people who jump in early and let them play testings way earlier than others. Yeah, so there is no way to get Draconim immediately. But pre-ordering is also the cheapest way to get the book, because once it goes out of pre-order, it will be more expensive, just because that is the reality of the situation with printing and costs, etc. But the digital PDF might remain the same, but given the amount of extra artwork that's been added, that may also increase in price. So it is something to keep in mind. Yeah, so there's a lot going on at the minute with things. So it's all very exciting. Cool, cool, cool. It is, if you want to try it, head into the Discord. There are a few people running campaigns. Azun is one of them, so he may actually recruit you for a game. But if you want to try it, it's the best way to do so. So, yeah. So, other stuff. The Large Forge Master is my new novel I am currently working on. If you haven't seen it already, let me show you. Yeah. There it is. So that's my next novel, The Last Forge Master. Currently working on it at the minute, but I'm very excited because I'm going to be going to a actual blacksmith in the UK to go and talk to him a bit more about how blacksmithry works, understand it a bit more, so they can write an accurate depiction of a follower of Emdros, not Emdros, what's his name? Not Emdros, Kalios. To understand a bit more about blacksmithry, how people do these things, and what it means to be one. Then I will be going around the country a bit on a bit of a tour for myself, just to go and learn a bit more about the inspirations I've had. So I will be taking a trip up to Scotland this year. I'll be taking a trip to different castles within the UK, because a lot of them have been inspiration for me when writing. I'd love to actually sit down and write inside those castles, talk to people there. And for an upcoming game, I will be researching something, and I cannot tell you what that is. So I'm going to be doing field research, which I am extremely excited about. I get to take my typewriter with me, go find beautiful locations, and sit down and write, which is going to be so much fun, and I can't wait to do that. So I'm hoping to do that when the weather actually becomes a bit more feasible. So there is that. So, yeah, I can show you that. Let's show you some stuff. Who would like to see some very, very cool artwork for the Herald's Guide? Guess no one wants to see any artwork. It's terrible behavior, to be honest. Okay, here we go. So, as you know, the Herald's Guide is getting there, and there is a location inside the Herald's Guide known as Hero's End. See if I can find it for you. There we are. So, let's see if I can zoom in. So, Hero's End is the place that Aeron Stormfeather made his final stand against the oncoming siege during the 90-Day War. And it is said that when he died, his hammer was the only thing that was left remaining. But I wanted to make artwork that actually depicted the event instead of just this artwork that you can currently see on the page. So I'm very pleased to show, and actually might be able to change it myself right now, is okay. Got him. Here it is. Right. Let's see if we can do this. Here is the artwork for Hero's End. I'll also show you the whole thing because it's worth seeing. But there you go. See if I can make this smaller so you can get the entire effect. There we go. Move that down. See the whole thing. There you go. So that is Hero's End. A very, very important part of the 90-Day War. And yeah, where he made his final stand, absolutely decimated his enemies. It is a very cool location. I am very happy with it. Yeah, such good artwork. So, there are some other stuff that we've been working on as well in the background. As most of you know, there is going to be another product released alongside Ashes when it, but it was a campaign exclusive, which was the artwork for the. So you can find it here. Here it is. Which was for the Herald's Guide. Sorry, the Norag's Journal. So here are some sketches from Norag's Journal. This is the Earth Phoenix. This is the Ice Phoenix. You then have the Phoenix of Fire. And the Phoenix of the Air. So what I'll do, see if I can grab these and show them. 1, 2, 3. Do it like that. There you go. So that's air, earth, water, and fire. But yeah, these are they went to war, and that is why Acheroth got Mayfall's got absolutely decimated in the future, which is why Ashes as a concept even exists. So very fun storyline, very cool. There are people in there for scale, so yeah, it is very nice. And then we have some art of the World Tree after it died. So this is what that looks like. And then we actually have artwork of so much more stuff as well. So these are each of the... So this is all going in that journal. But yeah, there's sketches of every single enemy type inside the core rulebook as well. Which is just dope as hell. And we also have every single boss done as well. Yeah. The Norix journal is going to be so good and have some deep lore that you won't find anywhere else. So if you haven't got it already, go to the Ashes pre-order page and grab it. It will not be made again. There might be copies available when I'm at a con, because we'll have to print the minimum order. But other than that, it won't be available ever again, because it isn't something I ever planned to be a full product that we continue to release. It was meant to just be a nice tie-in for Ashes. So if you want some deep lore on the future of Azeroth and want to understand a bit more about the bosses, do grab it, because if not for the lore, do it for the artwork, because my art team have absolutely killed it. These hand-drawn sketches of depictions of these characters, absolutely beautiful. I'm really excited to sort of do more, and yeah, there's artwork of the locations in there as well. There's going to be so the battlefields that you might find. So yeah, it is a beautiful, beautiful little book. So I definitely grab it if you can. So I think that's it for today. I wanted to just go over a bit more about what's going on at the minute, go over a sort of general catch up, and then what we'll do next week is go over some stuff in detail, because I think there's a lot of options there. So yeah, let me quickly just get that. But yeah, perfect. With that said, I would love to know what you guys would like to see in the next couple of streams. I used to do little polls. I want to do them again, but I think just directly asking before we continue on would be great. So please leave a comment in the Discord on what you want to see in the next stream, or what would be useful to you. I will be putting a message out that just @ all the Draconin people. You can respond to that so that I can keep track of it. So until then, thank you so much for your time, your love, your appreciation for the game. I am really excited to talk a bit more about what we're going to do in the future and take more time with that. I thank you so much for enjoying my little office. I really appreciate it. I worked really hard to make this a nice space for me to work. And also, I painted all the walls myself. I built 7 Billy bookcases. I brought the chair up 2 flights of stairs, did all of it, and I'm so happy and I'm very proud, and I'm so glad that people like it, because I have to work in here, and I was hoping that people would enjoy it as well, because this is now my background for all my streams and all my other stuff. So you guys will see it very often, and I do want it to be nice for people who watch the streams. So thank you again. I hope everyone had a fantastic holiday, and I'm really excited for the next couple of weeks. It is going to be a great thing. We have Legends of Azeroth launching in 6 weeks, so if you haven't already, please do go and follow the pre-launch page. There's a lot of cool stuff going on with that as well. But until next time, thank you. I wish you all the very best, and if I do not see you, have a wonderful evening, wonderful morning, or wonderful night. Goodbye, and yeah, I will see you all later.